All right, so in today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down exactly why staying a copywriter and not learning additional skill sets is going to keep you broke and you are going to fall behind in the online space. As you can see, I cooked up an insane Miro board for you guys. I spent a ton of time on this. I break down quite literally everything on how to learn these additional skill sets and how you can actually go into a more leveraged business model, which is growth operating. And it's gonna be a little bit longer video just because I cooked up such an insane amount of sauce for you guys. So as we all know, info products are absolutely booming right now. Guys like Brez, TJR, and Alex Hermosi are making an absolute fortune, millions and millions of dollars every single month, right? Obviously there's WAP, there's School, which are run by some of the biggest influencers in the online space as well, which just helps you. Quite honestly, selling info products is probably one of the greatest opportunities for anyone to build an online income. Whether you're a copywriter, an agency owner, a growth operator, or a sales rep. And you don't need to take my word for it, just open your phone, right? It's everywhere around you. You look to your right, someone's selling a dropshipping course. You look to your left, someone's selling a trading course. It's everywhere. And that's because with trust in the traditional system falling apart, people are hungry for real world knowledge. And obviously the kind that schools never taught us, right? And schools never actually taught how to really make money. And so that's what people want nowadays. And that's why they're flooding to get mentors and things of that nature and learn from courses. So that's exactly why smart creators and entrepreneurs are cashing in on this information gold rush, turning what they know into digital offers. And you can capitalize this as well, even if you're not selling your own info product. And chances are you've realized this, right? You know the online education industry is exploding and you want a piece of it. But here's your problem. You realize working in someone's business and grinding endlessly is not the move, right? Obviously, as a freelancer, as a copywriter, as a sales rep, you're literally just trading your time for money at the end of the day. And you feel trapped in these saturated markets where copywriting alone just isn't enough to actually stand out or actually build an online business, right? You're not actually running or building something tangible, right? You just are learning skill sets, which is amazing. And I'll get to that next. So if you feel that way, I got you, brother. Because in this video, I'm about to break down the exact AI operating blueprint I used to help generate over 150K last month alone for my info agency clients, where I keep 25% of this. And it's basically just copywriting, but combined with systems, AI, and actual business building skills. And gone are the days where you could hit 10 to 20K a month as a copywriter by just writing emails or some sales pages, or maybe scripting a VSL, right? The market has evolved where it's crowded now, it's competitive, and honestly, pretty saturated, right? Because even myself, even with a tiny personal brand, get hundreds of cold DMs every single week from copywriters trying to land clients offering me the exact same thing. So here's the thing, you need to position yourself strategically as a full stack operator. This is the only way that you're actually gonna make it. Not just a copywriter, not just some email guys or some sales page writer, but as an actual business partner who knows how to combine copy, systems, strategy, and AI to build an actual info business for their clients, which is what they actually want. And obviously helping them generate insane results. And that's how these guys have been able to print so much damn money online, right? Mason has a copywriting course and Ben is his full stack operator helping him with his entire back end. And this isn't just theory as well, right? Take Joe, for example. He's one of my students who is stuck, barely able to land 1.5K per month retainers as a copywriter. And check it out now, on October 3rd, just a few days ago, we helped him close a fitness creator that he's been chatting to that has over 600K across all platforms and easily has the potential to scale to 50 to 100K per month. And he spent just 2 weeks of doing high quality outreach to land this creator using the exact same methods that I'm about to teach you in this video. And remember, he was literally a complete beginner before getting started. And so let's hop right into it. So What is this new way of printing with info copywriting? So if you want to win in this info game, you need to stop seeing copywriting as just writing words, right? And actually start treating it like a toolbox for solving problems, right? Where you're stacking these different skill sets. Because at the end of the day, you don't get paid for writing copy. You get paid for solving marketing problems that cause pain in someone else's business, right? Where a painful problem is going to result in a stressed out business owner. And if you have the solution to that, the problem solved and the business owner or your client is happy. And the more problems you can solve, the more value you bring, the more money you're going to make. It's that simple. You get paid in proportion to the size of the problems that you're solving. So if you solve big problems, you're going to get paid a lot of money. If you solve problems like just helping people with emails, you're not going to make a lot. And so that is why we need to build out that actual tool chest and toolbox of skills, right? And so what is the operator's toolbox? And you don't need to learn all of these things all at once, but as you develop those skills, it's like collecting affinity stones, right? And once you get extremely good at growth operating, you're gonna know how to run webinars, write VSLs, back-end systems and automations, sales processes, offer building, how to actually launch these offers, strategic email sequences, info marketing, funnels, and actually fulfillment delivery systems. And so obviously you're gonna slowly develop these skills over time. And so every time you spot a problem, you reach into that toolbox, pull out the right skill, and fix it. For example, let's say a creator struggling because their webinar isn't converting. A basic copywriter might rewrite the webinar script and hope for the best, but a full stack operator, someone with a big toolbox, looks deeper, right? They might realize that the offer itself is weak. They might realize that the emails leading up to the webinar don't create enough urgency. Or maybe they realize that the actual sales process after the webinar aren't taking people through the right pain points, or the follow-up sequence is bad. It could be a variety of different things, right? So instead of just copywriting, you're able to refine the offer, build a strong email sequence, improve the webinar, and fix the sales process on the back end. And you make a lot more money because you're solving these bigger problems in their business, right? And so when you fix these problems, you get paid. And so there's two types of copywriters, right? Timmy's the kind of guy who only knows how to write emails, sales pages, or ads. He's stuck sending a random copy up front for free, trying to give value and chasing 1K per month. Retainers, spamming hundreds of DMs a day, clients come and go, income is inconsistent, and he's easily replaceable because there's tons and tons of other copywriters, right? But compare this to a full stack operator. These are the ones getting paid 10, 20, or even 30K per month from just one single client because they're solving bigger problems. They combine copywriting with systems, strategy, offers, AI, and an actual business partnership, which is what these creators are actually looking for. They don't just write, they build and scale info businesses to 100K per month and beyond, and print cash on demand. And they're able to do this because they've got full operating toolbox packed with skills they can pull from whenever a problem shows up because they've learned these skills. And they're not competing against traditional copywriters, sales reps, or these other content agencies. And so I really want to make sure that you understand this, right? Because you need to acquire more skills and expand your toolbox and really stack those skill sets. And this is what's going to allow you to actually make it in the online space. And for this reason, you need to transition into full stack operating as soon as possible, or you're gonna get absolutely left behind as the market evolves and the AI space starts to take over, right? Because think about it, why would any info business pay separately for a copywriter, a content agency, a funnel builder, a sales manager, when they can just have one person who does it all internally on their team? And like I said, all it takes is just one client, one case study that does well to completely change your life. And before we go any further, it's important that you realize that this is not some get rich quick scheme, right? You generally need to get good at these skill sets. But at the end of the day, these skill sets are not rocket science. They're extremely learnable. They're pretty straightforward. You just need to take the time to learn them. And so I don't want you to think this is some shiny growth operating model that you've been sold by clever marketing gurus, right? You're not going to make millions by simply creating people a school community and taking 50%. This is not what we're doing. And so how are we going to sign our first 20K per month growth operating client? And so this is where most copywriters go completely wrong. They waste hours sending hundreds of lazy outbound messages without getting any replies, right? Probably sending yo, are you doing anything with emails, right? Probably sounds familiar. And they beg for 2K per month retainers only to get stuck in the same copywriting hamster wheel, right? Where they're doing outreach, they get a client on a retainer, they get burnt out and get no results because they're just trading their time for money. They lose the creator or the client and they're stuck doing more outreach and they're just burnt out, just not getting anyone any results, not making any progress in their business. And that's because they don't provide any actual value up front and end up trapped in an overcrowded copywriting space. As full stack operators, we're not doing any of that. We don't overcomplicate things with outreach tactics that don't work. Instead, we only look for dream info partnerships, which is coaches and creators who have the potential to absolutely print. We break down their funnels and identify a bottleneck in their business. We solve that bottleneck using AI before reaching out, and then we get them on a call to demonstrate that free value and pitch yourself as their AI operator on a 20 to 40% revenue share. And we make an offer to them that is simply too good to say no to. In other words, we make it an irresistible offer. And the truth is there are over 207 million creators worldwide, plus the entire online education industry, which is absolutely exploding right now. And so let me ask you, do you believe that you can just sign one of these clients, right? Like we said, it only takes one good client to change your life and to actually be making 10, 20, 30K per month. And this is genuinely extremely realistic. And so if you feel like you can close just one of these 207 million creators that are out there, then keep watching. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. So first, before we sign someone, we need to know what an ideal client looks like, right? And so the first thing is we need to work with people who already have or sell info products. Our goal is not to try to sell the dream or convince someone to sell a course or an info product, right? They should already want to do this, and that's how we ensure that it's gonna be a good partnership and that they're actually motivated, right? So this means you're gonna wanna look for coaches, consultants, or creators who are either selling a low ticket offer, but have the potential to launch a high ticket coaching program and anywhere from 2 to 10K. Or they already have a high ticket offer, but they're leaving money on the table because their marketing, their sales systems, or their funnels aren't optimized to scale. Or they have a high ticket offer, but could also launch a low ticket front end product, right? Where you build them out a low ticket community. Or this creator has extremely educational content about one very specific niche with good engagement. And so maybe they don't have an info product, but they've had the idea and they have the right content to do this, and you're the guy to actually help them build all of that stuff out. And as a bonus tip, when you're looking and analyzing all these different creators, go for less crowded and underexploited niches, right? For example, there's guys in the relationship niche, but think a little bit deeper beyond relationships, right? What kind of relationships? So the sub niche to this would be relationship coaches for men. Or maybe, for example, in the wealth niche, you can think of different ways to make money online. For example, a web design agency where they're helping people start some sort of agency. Or maybe instead of fitness or health coach, think even deeper, like gut health coach, right? Which is a big pain point that people are trying to solve at the end of the day, and there's a market for it. And so for anyone that you do decide to go after and start outreaching to, you wanna make sure that they have a gap in their funnel, and that is where you can come in and help them solve this gap. And so how are we gonna do this? How are we going to fill the gap in their funnel? So once you've identified a potential ideal client, right, the next step is simple. You're gonna wanna fill the gap in their funnel that's holding them back. And this is what separates full stack operators from any average copywriter. So we're obviously not gonna just pitch them useless emails. We're gonna break down their funnel from their content to their lead nurturing to their sales systems to their follow-ups that they're doing. We really wanna analyze and funnel hack everything that they're doing and really see which system that they have that can be improved. So you're gonna wanna identify this specific pain point inside their business, and then we show up with a solution and custom strategies ready before we even reach out, right? And so we do this while using AI strategically to write the copy, match their exact voice, and connect with their audience's mental triggers. And so the copy you create for them is only one moving piece of a bigger strategic system we're putting together for their business to generate more revenue. And so you're showing up as the person who understands the entire customer journey. And so what do these gaps actually look like, and how do we properly identify them? And so for this, an example would be they're missing a high ticket monetization strategy. And so the situation is they're selling a low ticket or maybe a mid ticket offer, but their audience actually wants one-on-one help, right? Or mentorship or coaching. And so the gap is no structured high ticket backend, no ascension path or value ladder to monetize higher intent leads, right? And those that are financially qualified. So the opportunity here is obviously helping them launch that high ticket offer, which typically will require a different funnel. It'll require sales teams and things of that nature. And so the free value that you can give is write them a VSL that introduces and launches their new high ticket offer. Or another example is low show up rates on sales calls. So obviously the situation is they're booking calls for their high ticket offer, but no one's showing up. And so they likely have no email reminders, SMS sequences, pre-call warming assets to actually get people to show up. And so with this, there's an opportunity to help them set those things up, those different SMS flows, and help them increase their show rates and pre-sell the offer and nurture them so that they show up to the call ready. And so something you can do in your outreach is write these emails and SMS sequences for them to fill that gap. Or for example, no low ticket downsell systems, right? Where they maybe have a 2K high ticket offer, but 95% of leads say no or are not ready and are completely lost. We're gonna wanna come up with like a $97 per month community, right? And so that's really what's missing from their offer. And so you can help them create a low ticket offer, a simple funnel to capture more revenue from the traffic they're already getting. And so when you're doing outreach, you can offer them, right, a sales page or ads or email sequences to launch this low ticket funnel and show them that you actually know what you're doing. And this will obviously help you learn that process. And so once you actually do land that creator, you could just hit the ground running at that point. And lastly is like, another example is like some shitty sales funnel, right? Where they just have a bad sales page. It just looks terrible, or there's no VSL, or the VSL is super bad, right? Where they're already driving traffic to a high ticket offer, whether it's organic, paid ads, or through their social media. But when people land on their sales page or website or watch their VSL, it's just not converting because it's terrible, obviously, right? And so the reasons that this would be happening is just because the copy is weak, or the funnel structure is broken, or the messaging just doesn't feel cohesive or aligned with the traffic source. And so the opportunity here is to help them optimize their entire sales page by rewriting their sales page in VSL script for them. And so if you can actually do these things, you'll be positioning yourself as an actual authority, and they're really gonna trust you and appreciate the hard work that you put in when outreaching to them. And so the next steps really, once you build out these assets, is to actually create a personalized Loom video showcasing the exact asset you built for them and demonstrate how this solves a deep gap in their funnel and helps them make more money in the process, right? That's my shitty $sign. And so subconsciously, you're gonna trigger them to hop on a call and explore working together as info partners. And because I'm a nice guy, I'm going to drop my entire outreach framework right here because I'm sick of these online gurus gatekeeping all the good stuff from you. And so I'm gonna reveal the exact framework I use to scale my agency and close all these creators. And so here's the perfect Loom video strategy that I typically charge for, but I'm gonna give it away today for free. So first, you're gonna wanna start off with a really strong intro where you establish authority and credibility instantly, right? So who you are, why you're recording this, and why they should actually care to listen to you. Next, you're gonna wanna create an open loop, right? Or a pattern interrupt and a buy-in incentive as to why they should actually stay until the end of the video and what they're gonna actually get out of it. From there, I kind of call it the setup stage, where you're kind of setting the stage as to what you're gonna actually break down, right? And so set the stakes by exposing these broken systems, right? First, I like to usually compliment them before tearing into their broken systems. So tell them what's going well, but then also tell them the actual mistakes that they're making, the problems that you see in their actual funnels and their systems, and the consequences of not solving these problems. Next, you're gonna wanna provide them, fuck, this is good value, right? They should actually be taken back by all the value that you're giving them. And so what is value? Value is obviously solving a real problem with a specific solution, where you're actually getting them excited, you're educating them, and you're actually building desire to act at the same time. And so really you're just breaking down your method, which is what you would do instead of what they're already doing. And the inverse benefits is just what happens if they follow your way, which is making more money, right? Or more conversions, or whatever the case is. From there, always try to back this up with proof, right? Whether you've done this for another client, or for example, break down someone else in the space that's applied the same system and it's working really well, right? So the proof is in the pudding. Someone is already probably implementing said VSL that you're talking about, and you can just show that as proof if you don't have past results. And then make an actual CTA, ask for a response, and stack the upside, right? Right, if you like it, reply and I'll actually build this out for you. Or if you didn't like it, reply and I'll shoot X lead magnet over to you so that it wasn't a waste of your time, right? You always wanna end on a good note with them. And so that is the Loom structure. And so now we need to get on to what I like to call the Omni outreach method. So once you actually have the Loom created, this is where most people absolutely drop the ball, which is the actual outreach part. And so getting that first message out is absolutely fundamental. But here's what separates the ones who print from the ones who never get replies. And the money is always in the follow-ups. It's a foundational principle of sales. One message just simply isn't enough, and one platform just simply isn't enough either. Most people stop too soon, or they're too afraid to bother someone. But the truth is, if you believe in the solution you're offering, you owe it to them to stay on their radar, right? And so that means hitting them up on email, DMing them, hit them up on school, join their WAP, their LinkedIn, even Twitter if they're there. And so literally hit them up on every single platform that you can find them on, because they're on there if they're a good creator, right? And so hit them up everywhere you can and do it the right way without being spammy or seeming desperate. And so you send that Loom across all these different platforms, right, to really make sure that they actually see it. Because if they don't see it, then you're not gonna be able to actually sign them, obviously, right? And so quick action item list, find 10 potential info partners, right? Coaches, creators, and consultants with gaps in their funnels. Identify and fill the gap. Use the AI to create one key asset and one simple strategy that solved that problem. From there, showcase the free value in the Loom video using my framework that I just showed you guys. Follow up relentlessly, hit them up on every platform, get them on a call, and position yourself as the obvious solution. Send out 3 to 10 personalized Looms every single day. Deepen your knowledge of the info market and get obsessed with how this game works, right? If you genuinely send out 3 to 10 Looms every single day, I can guarantee you will get a client within the next 10 days. Like, I've seen it happen so many times. It's happened so many times for myself. If you actually do this, you will sign someone that will change your life. It's that simple, but it's gonna take hard work. It's gonna take learning new skills. And so if you follow this process the right way, you will land your first 20K per month partnership within 10 days, right? Because at the end of the day, you only need one client to make it in growth operating. And obviously it'll probably take you a little bit longer to figure out this part, right? But once you actually start sending out the 3 to 10 Looms per day, it'll only take you about 10 days of actual outreach. And so I hope this is extremely motivating to you. From there, you might be wondering, once we land our first info partnership, how do we actually get them insane results? And how do I turn that client into an actual case study that I could leverage in the future? And most importantly, how do we secure a juicy piece of the pie from the results we generate? So here's the exact steps we take to scale our info clients to 100K per month and get our first case study. So one of the biggest keys to scaling our clients as AI operators is this: you need to be good at copywriting. You need copy to attract the right people to your client's business, and you need copy to convert those people into buyers. The better your copy, the more irreplaceable you become. And no, I won't lie to you, the amount of copy you'll need to write can feel a bit overwhelming at first, but trust me, it's worth it. You're gonna need to write things out like ads, script their content, their VSL, their sales pages, their emails. Maybe it's their webinar if you're running that funnel. Sometimes I help them script out their course modules if they need help with that. Maybe it's their community and all the different templates and assets that you add in there. Their thank you pages, their free training or lead magnets, onboarding sequences, story sequences. And so getting good at copywriting is gonna be such a valuable skill set. And if you're watching this, you're probably already good at copywriting. It's a lot, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but that's exactly why you're getting a percentage of the entire business and getting paid according to the problems that you're solving them, right? Once again, because you're the one helping them scale by writing almost everything for them, and they absolutely need this. And pro tip, start building a swipe file of copy you love, right? When you see an ad or when you go to the link in the bio of one of your favorite creators, save those links down and add them to a big old swipe file or a Google Drive or a Notion. And like that, every time you need to actually come up with this copy for your clients, you can always just refer to that swipe file whenever you're trying to come up with ideas and things of that nature. And so from there, you're gonna quickly be able to scale your client up, right? By just really helping them fix all those different aspects of their business. And you're gonna be able to get to that 20K per month mark. But I'm sure you have bigger goals than just that. And I'm gonna quickly break down how to actually get to 100K per month with an info agency. And so at this point, you've landed your first client and you help them crush it. And the next step is simple: stack more skills, upsell the same clients, and get new clients using the same process, right? And this is how you start to build an info agency, right? Where you're no longer just one guy helping one creator, but instead running a scalable agency model around info products, where you're stacking those skills. And as you deepen your knowledge in copywriting, paid ads, offers, funnels, info marketing, and AI, your value will skyrocket. And the more problems you can solve, the more you can charge, as we know. So upselling your current clients, if you help them scale to 50K per month, well, now you're gonna want to work on taking them to 80 or 100K per month, right? Offer to take over paid ads, back-end monetization, retention, AI. And so as you take on and handle more of these things, you can ask for a bigger rev share in their business. It's completely okay to do. And they'll happily pay you more, right? Because you're handling more things for them. And since you help them already scale up to 50K per month, you've already built that trust and you've already proven to them that you can help them print. And that's when you can really start making even more money. From there, obviously you can get new clients, right? Where your first case study becomes your proof, right? You repeat the same omni outreach process, but now you're walking in with results, which makes it so much easier, right? And so from there, it just gets easier every single time because you can just talk about the results that you've gotten for someone else, and it's that acts as proof. And so before you know it, you'll have multiple info partnerships stacking cash flow. And you'll have the option to delegate, scale, and build a micro personal brand in the info space or whatever fits your vision, right? And if you want to start making a little bit of content of your own, it's going to attract a bunch of other creators. They're going to see you as an authority, and that's how you're going to really be able to scale your agency to the moon at that point. And so here's the thing that most people don't realize is this entire operating model is still wildly untapped. People think it's saturated, and that couldn't be further from the truth, right? While everyone else is either grinding through high-ticket sales calls all day, running outdated agency services that are easy to replace, or begging for small monthly retainers that keep them stuck, very few are stepping into the role of an actual AI operator. And right now, there's unlimited demand for operators who help coaches, creators, and consultants scale their digital offers. And because this role is still new and scarce, you can position yourself at the top of the value chain instead of fighting for scraps at the bottom. You only need one client to change your life. You only need one case study to unlock bigger deals. And since you watched this video, you already have the blueprint. And so if you want to break into this new operator agency model and start making $25K per month from a single client, you can click the link in the bio to apply to work with me directly, where I'll actually guarantee you a creator and I'll work with you one-on-one to scale that creator with you, right? And I'll literally hand over every system and SOP. I'll hand you sales reps. You'll have direct access to me and my entire team and my network to actually get this creator that I give you insane results. I also have a completely free school community that you can check out and ask me any questions that you have, or you can connect with me on IG. So I hope you found value on this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.